Hi, I'm Krista Pullen. I'm the Ag and Natural Resources and Community Development Educator here in Cass County. And for those of you who might not know, I was born and raised here in Cass County, and so I have the pleasure of also serving in this role here in my own county. I have an 80% community development, or I'm sorry, 80% A&R appointment, and then a 20% community development appointment. So my position is a little unique in that it's split between two different program areas. So, as I'm sure you know, all of us have endured lots of challenging times and changes in all of our personal lives and also our professional lives. And Extension is not exempt to any of those changes this year. But we do have a lot of great things we were able to still accomplish, and we were able to do several months of what we call the old style of programming, or what we were always traditional programming, what we were used to. It seems like that was a lifetime ago now, but we were still able to get a lot done before COVID hit. So some of those traditional programs that I was able to hold was the artificial insemination school for cattle. We had 17 participants certified in that training last November. We had a cow-calf workshop last year. We are able to have a couple PARP programs, that's the program for applicator license holders. So those farmers who have licenses to apply their own chemicals on their fields, they have to get continuing education credits to keep that license up. So we were able to hold two of those programs here in the county in person. We had some on-local government programming workshops throughout the year. Those have always been virtual, and they continued to be virtual, of course, through COVID. So those are for people those are for schools, librarians, elected officials, people who are just interested in politics, or possibly running for a position someday, or just people who want to be informed about what's going on with our state government and local governments. We were able to also do our farm to school program. We do that with Logansport and Lewis Cass. Last year we talked about herbs and herb gardening, and so we were able to do some windowsill gardens last year and take some food into the classroom, which just seems bizarre now because we can't do things like that. But we were able to take some herb foods into the classroom and have taste tests and talk about what they grew and how you can use that in cooking. So that was a pretty fun program as well. We did our succession planning workshops last year, and I help lead that team. We have those all throughout the state, kind of regional based. So I can't remember where the closest one to here was last year because we're already working on next year's, but they're always within a short drive, if not here in the county. I also do a workforce development program called In Work. It's kind of a play on words for Indiana Work. In that program I did at Logansport High School, we had over 200 high school students go through that program. And we are basically giving them skills to go out into the workforce. Some of them are soft skills, some of them are a little more of most of them are soft skills, I guess. So we talk about, the importance of being a good team member. We talk about financial management, personal accountability. We talk about dressing for success in that program. And so it's a really good one for people who are getting out into the workforce for the first time, or maybe some of those who are re-entering the workforce, because some of those unspoken, unwritten rules are always changing around that topic as well. So then, like all of us, COVID hit in March, and the unexpected happened, and everything that we were planning, we planned 6, 8, 10, 12 months ahead of time. Everything that we had planned just had to pivot. And so we were proud to really be able to take a week and kind of adjust to what was happening and very quickly transition some of our programs for the very first time into these virtual online formats. And so the Area 8 A&R educators, so that's Cass, Carroll, Fulton, Miami, Grant, Wabash, Howard, and Tipton counties. We got together and we did some joint programming. So we put our heads together and kind of used the strengths of all of us together and held virtual programs. One of those programs was a home horticulture online workshop. It was free for anyone to attend. And we did topics such as turf management. We did growing tomatoes. We did a topic on asparagus. We did a soils, lighting, all of those different topics that people were really interested in. More and more people were growing their own gardens this year. If you tried to get seeds or plants in May, like I typically do, and I still tried to this year, you had a hard time finding those. So we knew the interest was out there, and there was a lot of first-time gardeners or people trying new gardening techniques or methods or even plants that they've never tried before. And so we really seized the opportunity in getting that information out there to them. It was fun. We had over 600 participants in the program from throughout the United States. We had great feedback, actually, to our surprise. Depending on the program, anywhere from 60 to 83% of the attendees preferred a virtual format. So we weren't sure back in March how people would like going virtual, but it did seem at the time anyway that there was a lot of value in still having that programming out there in a virtual format. I think now as time goes on, that's changed a little bit. I think some people are craving that in-person programming a little more, especially as you know, we wait for things to open back up, or they've opened and closed, and you know, we're kind of in this moment of in between, but we're kind of adjusting and trying to find that happy medium of doing both. Another thing that the Area 8 A&R educators partnered on, we had planned an in-person field day here in Cass County, out at the ag park, and it was going to be hosted by the Kitchells, and unfortunately we didn't get to do that. It was planned for July, so we had to take that agronomy series or agronomy field day to a virtual format. And so we had 4 nights of different programming where you could get PARP credits. We talked about cover crops. We had speakers come in, talk about corn and soybean management, disease management, disease ID, and seed coding. And so we were still able to get the topics out there, and we hope to be back to in-person field days again, maybe this summer, and hopefully we'll still be able to go out to Kitchell's and host it here in Cass County again. Also during the COVID situation, we pivoted to, I started doing newspaper articles. There was an opportunity where the newspaper had an open page where they used to hold events, and they contacted me and asked if, you know, I would be interested in doing some programs or some articles. So I did in the garden article, and got lots of phone calls all summer long with questions or asking for more information, and that was probably one of the highlights of my year, really being able to connect with more people throughout the summer and spring, summer, and fall, really. I also did several Facebook Lives this summer. I've never done Facebook Lives before, but they did grow in popularity. We had a late freeze, I think, if you remember, in May, and was able to talk about the importance of going out and covering your garden, what needs covered, what will probably be okay with a late frost or late freeze. So those were new and challenging and a fun opportunity as well. On the community development side, about 1 week after everybody got sent home, we decided to put together a place for local government officials and people involved in government to get together and talk about, share problems they're having and solutions they've come up with. And so we had Zoom meetings where librarians were able to share, you know, what they were doing to try to keep materials safe or still get materials out when, you know, the library was closed. Were they doing curbside pickup? How did they handle cleaning materials when they came back? You know, we talked about paying taxes, and you know, the county elected officials would get on and share things that they had found that had been working in their counties. we talked about all sorts of things, and they were called local COVID-19 roundtables, government roundtables. And so some spin-offs of that were some need for librarians wanted to know, and other offices in government wanted to know how to utilize Zoom programming. So I put together a presentation. It was fairly new to me too, and now looking back, there's so much more I could have added, and Zoom's gotten bigger and better in the last 6 to 8 months here. So did a training on how to utilize the basic Zoom tools, so they could still meet with clientele, and they could still hold those. I think the library is wanting to do, child programs for children virtually, and so we were teaching them how they could do that, how they could stream Zoom to Facebook Live, and all of those tools that can be kind of intimidating and tricky if you've never done them. So it's just been a great year. It's been a fun year. It's been a challenging year, as I'm sure it has for all of you. We are excited to still be here and still offering programs. We're excited to see what the future holds here in Cass County Purdue Extension. And if you ever have a programming idea or interest in something that maybe we don't offer or we haven't offered, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, because we would love nothing more than to find a way to fulfill those needs here in Cass County. It's great talking to you. I look forward to seeing you hopefully soon, and hopefully everybody's staying safe and you have a great, happy holiday season.